Hey everybody, this is Lisa, proud owner of Body Soul Training, and welcome back to our program, The Inner Life of Fitness, where we share stories to inspire you to help ignite your inner and outer strength. So I am super excited about my guest today. She has played such a positive role and still plays a positive role in my life since the day she was born. We've known each other for a very long time, and I'm just super lucky to have her in my life. Welcome to our program, Alyssa Silva, my dear friend. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Wish. I'm sorry I didn't introduce you. That's Wish right behind Alyssa. So I just want to tell our listeners a little bit about you, Alyssa. So you were born with a debilitating form of muscular dystrophy, and it's known as spinal muscular atrophy. I know you are also an amazing writer, an amazing blogger. You're an artist. You're a philanthropist. I can't say the word.
Philanthropist.
Thank you, philanthropist. See, I was tongue-tied. Live. You gotta love live. Most importantly, I think one of your most important jobs is you're my virtual assistant for Body Soul. And I didn't know if people know this about you, but you love coffee and you love your doggies. So welcome to our show, Alyssa. I'm so excited to have you on. And personally, I know you've done so much for my company. I just want to thank you. I was hoping, to have you on the show today so you could share a little bit about how you've used your challenges, obstacles as the foundation in which you built your strength, your character, and your grit. You mind sharing with our listeners?
Yeah, so, I think a lot of factors come into play when I think about that. Part of me has to credit my parents for building that mental toughness within me at a young age. And I've always just kind of lived with the mentality that if I'm going through something, I have to get through it. I don't have a choice but to make it to the other side. So I've used that to build my strength and to build the character of knowing that I'm going to get through this. And when I do, I will be stronger than I was when I started this. And I think that also just sort of culminates over time. And it's brought me to where I am today. And I really just, like I said, I believe that life is what you make of it. And that's just something, that's because of what I've been through and learning how to overcome challenges or use those challenges to sort of better my strength.
So, some people might be asking, well, Lisa's doing the show of Inner Life of Fitness. My company, Body Soul, is all about the mind, body, and spirit. And to me, being healthy, people think, you have to be an able body, but that's not what I'm about. And that's why I'm so excited to have you here. And people are probably wondering, geez, well, okay, she's got SMA, not okay. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but what has she overcome? And this is another reason I want you to share more, because I asked, where did you get your true grit? Okay, you said your parents, and I get that, but I don't even think, and we'll go to that story in a little bit of how your parents, I don't even think every day they're impressed by you. They're amazing people, but you started at a young age. So let's talk about turning lemons into lemonade. Like, you started at a real young age. So tell me about the lemonade.
Like the actual lemonade story?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
yeah.
When you started, I want people to know what you've done.
Yeah, so when as a child, well, to give some background info, when I was diagnosed, there was nothing, but no treatments, really no knowledge about SMA or anything like that. But it was sort of like at the beginning of something, like change was about to happen. And so when I was young, my dream and my aspiration in life was to raise $100 for SMA. So to a kid, $100 is like $10 million like in real life. And so I just thought, wow, if I could raise $100 to find a cure for SMA, oh my God, think of a change that could happen. So for that, I was like 7 or 8 years old, and my idea of raising $100 was having a lemonade stand. So the picture. Yeah, so
We'll bring that picture back. There we go.
yes, so
Yeah.
that's my niece and nephew. Yeah, so it really started with a lemonade stand, and I would get all the kids in the neighborhood to help me sell lemonade in the summertime. But when you're selling lemonade at like 50 cents or $1, it's gonna take a really long time to get to $100.
So you
So
were
that
7 years
was,
old. Did you get it? Did you make the $100?
I doubt it. I don't think so. Because like, I did really honestly selling it for like 50 cents. And it was, it was like homemade lukewarm lemonade in the summertime.
Yeah, but you
Nothing,
were 7 years
nothing.
old, right? You were 7 years old. You have this debilitating SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, and you said no. At a young age, you were like, no, I need to bring awareness to SMA. So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I think I've always just sort of taken matters into my own hands. Like, I don't want life to happen to me. I want to make life happen for me, if that makes sense. Like,
Mhm.
and I mean, from a spiritual sense, I believe that everything happens for a reason because of God created me, but at the same time, I'm not just going to let life pass me by
Mhm.
and waste time. Like,
Yeah.
I was given gifts and a purpose in life, and I want to use that. And I just happen to be blessed to have started at a young age, um, and take it from there. So
So
when,
take it from there. Let's talk about where you took it.
yeah,
So this is what I'm excited about. So you went from the lemonade, and we're talking how many years later. I won't tell everybody your age unless you want me to.
well, soon after the lemonade started, it's a long story. I'll briefly touch upon it. One of my therapists suggested that I sell cards and raise
Reading
money
college,
for
yeah.
SMA. Yeah, so I love to draw. I love art. I have since the day I was able to hold a pen in my hand. Like, it's always been my passion. So I took that idea, and that's when I started really raising money under the name of Working on Walking. Um,
So the working
and
on walking. That's where the working on walking started. How old were you with the working on walking? They're right here.
so I
Wow.
was about, yeah, there it is. So I was about 8 or 9 years old. And for about, I guess, 7 or 8 years, I made greeting cards and calendars and things like that. And I ended up raising about $50,000 with that,
Oh my gosh.
which
So
I don't even know
that's a
how many
picture of
times.
one. If we can go back to that picture, that's a picture of a check, right? Is that $50,000, I believe.
That's 50, that right there. But
Well,
like,
that,
so it took,
yeah.
go ahead.
No. I mean, that's better than making $100 of lemonade.
Yeah.
And so you're the CEO. You started working on walking. And so
Yeah.
people can still go to your site and could they still donate? Could they still help? Do you think you've brought attention to the cause? I know the
I
answer.
mean, I'd like to think it's me. I don't want to say that I have brought attention to the cause. We collectively as a community have. I
So
like to
we
say
see that
because,
picture. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that picture, it's just a small group. I know. So it started with you, Alyssa, and I know that group in that picture. And in the background, that's the State House. And it's lit green because you brought attention. So now doesn't the state of Rhode Island light the Capitol green because of you bringing awareness and attention to
we
the
used to do that. Yeah, we used to do that. Um, we haven't done that in a while, but yeah, we would light it green every August, I think for a week, to bring awareness to SMA.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yes.
So did you stop there? So you started, and you still have working on walking. You're the CEO. You made just 50,000, or where did you take it from there?
Yep. So from about the age of 8 or 9, probably 9 years old, up until I was 17, we raised $50,000. And it's funny to see that picture that you just showed of the check, because I didn't realize, like, it took me 8 years to raise 50,000.
Oh, bye, Wish. Thank you
Five
for
years,
coming.
yeah. Uh, it took 8 years to get to $50,000, and then in 2010 we started doing annual galas, which you have been to. We did a golf tournament and the dinners, and right after one gala, now we raised $50,000 just from one event, which is just mind blowing to me that it has turned into something so huge when 2 decades ago I just was having a lemonade stand.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
so
That's remarkable. I mean, instead of, that's what I'm saying. You've turned your lemons into lemonade. You that mindset. So let's talk about. I know you've given credit to your parents. I've heard you give credit to your faith, but to help others to get out of their own way. Like, where do you get your healthy mindset? Do you ever have a bad day?
always, I always have.
Yeah.
But I had a really bad day yesterday, and I think just trying to, like, I don't want to say like I'm this like mentally strong person, because I think that there's a false perception to say that I don't struggle mentally. Like, I'm good. I'm golden. I don't have challenges or obstacles. But the truth of the matter is, I do struggle, and I think the first step to, like, overcoming the bad days is just by simply embracing them and understanding that I'm human and I'm gonna have bad days and I'm gonna learn from this. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but someday I will look back on whatever it is I'm going through right now and say, okay, I'm better today because of what happened to me back then.
Wow, you're amazing. You really are. I want to hear more about, because I'm sure the kind of person that you are, you didn't stop with the galas. Let's talk about, I'm wearing one of your brands. People
I
can
wonder,
buy this product, yeah, right?
yes,
Dare
they
to be
can.
remarkable. Can you share a little bit about that? I see Robert Kraft. I see some cutie patooties I may recognize. Is that Hoda?
That's what it's happy.
All right. So how did this Dare to be Remarkable? Tell us a little bit about what inspired that. And
So Dare to be Remarkable is a documentary I filmed with a local video production company called Animus Studios. They're based out of East Providence. And they did this documentary about my life with SMA. And the title came from, it's like a wall. I have a wall detail
okay,
on my wall in my bedroom that my friend had given to me, and it says "Dare to be Remarkable." So that's where the name came from, and it sort of just turned into a movement of daring to be remarkable in all of life's circumstances, if that
that,
makes sense.
yeah, and that's why I wear the shirt. Can people buy these shirts, and do the proceeds go to working on
Yeah, sorry, duh. I can't believe I left that out. Um, so I'm not sure that we have sweatshirts. No, yes, we do. We have sweatshirts
Where can
and
they go?
t-shirts Working on walking.org.
Working on walking. Okay, we'll put
Dot
that
org.
so people can see. So they
And
can go
then,
there. Go ahead. What else do you have?
and then all of
Okay,
the places. What was that?
so we have it right underneath. So people can go to
Yeah.
Working on Walking and they can buy your swag. And the
And
proceeds, how much of the proceeds go to Working on Walking?
so all the places go with it are walking, which makes your shopping addiction like acceptable. I always say if I'm shopping for a good cause, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
And so with their walking, that's all of the proceeds, and we donate mostly to research. So there's a lot of research for existing treatments and upcoming treatments taking place at Boston Children's Hospital. So
Okay.
that check that you guys saw a few minutes ago, that was a check made to Boston Children's to their directly to their SMA research
Wow.
center. Yeah.
Alyssa, so I have to say, you've raised how much in total? So you've had galas, you're selling shirts, swag, sweatshirts. I just want to take a little quick sip of a really cool cup that I
Oh,
your
I miss those.
I'm not going to drink too much of it because it's an energy drink and I don't need any more energy. So
You have energy?
how much money have you raised and have they found what have you started with the lemonade stand, Alyssa Silva, you're the bomb. You started with the lemonade stand all those years ago. You're raising money. How much have you raised total? And what, because of part of what you've done, that positive pedal has happened?
I don't really know how much Wild has raised at this point.
$100,000 over.
A lot more. I would guess around 500,000.
Wow.
I know, but I think it's around $500,000, which is
and
insane.
is there a, now people know about it, there's research about it. What's the great news?
Oh my gosh, there's so much great news, especially to think that when I was diagnosed 30 years ago, there was nothing, and not many people even knew what SMA was. Today, you go to the doctor and you say, my diagnosis, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay. But in the last 5 years alone, there's been 3 treatments that have been FDA approved here in the United States. It's different for every country, which is why we're still fighting and advocating and raising money to make treatments accessible to everyone everywhere. But there's a few treatments available, one of which is gene therapy for babies that are just recently diagnosed, and like it's honestly it's actually like erasing SMA in their bodies, because SMA is a genetic disease, it's a genetic mutation, and this gene therapy is like overriding the mutation and killing these children.
Wow.
Of the
So when
disease,
you
which
were
is
diagnosed, there was no cure, and they basically said, "Go home with your child, prepare for their death. They're probably not going to live past the age of 3 and 4." You're a miracle that you're age 30. You're 100% right. You were put on this earth to help make a difference, and I'm going to cry about it because you didn't let your I got verklempt. You're not letting your disease define you. Right. And thank you for sharing that. And now, because of what that pebble in the water of you saying, well, you know what, every day that I'm alive, I'm going to do something to bring awareness. So a child is born today and actually will live and not have the debilitating that you have. So that's there's nothing else said. It's like, dare to be remarkable. You're the bomb. You're incredible.
Well, I do want to say too, like in many ways, I understand that like my disease doesn't define me, and that it doesn't hold me back from living a life I want to lead. But at the same time, it very much defines who I am today. Like I often think about like, if I didn't have SMA, I feel like I would be a very narcissistic, selfish person because SMA has taught me to be compassionate. It's taught me to just be grateful for what I have, and it's also taught me to just like live for today. And I think those are like really important like words to live by.
Wow. You're just powerful. Thank you for inspiring. Thank you for and I also want to mention that Alyssa also does blogging. And can we just share that story and how your parents, who are amazing people, right? They're there for you 24/7. But I even think they didn't know your talents. So one is, the first newsletter that you did for Body Soul, because Alyssa is my virtual assistant. She's the one who helps drives my social media, my Facebook, my Instagram, my constant contact, my newsletters. But she's also a famous blogger that her parents didn't realize. Tell us a story when you went to DC. You're a
Yeah,
celebrity.
that's really mind. For the minute when I started my blog, I hated to write. Like I hate is an understatement of how much I didn't like to write. And I remember telling my parents that I was starting a blog, and they were just kind of like, okay, like, you don't like to write. I don't think that's gonna go over well when you have a blog, you gotta write. And then maybe a few months later, my dad was food shopping, and he ran into someone, and they were like, "Oh, I love your daughter's blog. It's so good." And my dad was like, "Huh, I should probably read that." And that's how it started. It became this very almost like therapeutic process for me, because the reason why I started that blog was I went on the internet and I didn't see stories of people living with SMA. I only saw stories that were more like medical journals and prognoses and basically the heavy stuff, the heavy
Yeah.
side of SMA. And I was like, okay, but I'm graduating from college this year. Like, I've done so much. What are those stories? Like to say, hey, if I can do it, you can too. So that was why I started it. And then it sort of just blossomed into this really big community of people who have SMA or people who have never even heard of SMA. And it's beyond my wildest expectations, especially since I was the girl that hated to write.
Wow.
Hated.
Well, I
And
know.
then like
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
feel like now with body soul, like I've almost turned into a ghostwriter, and I just write all your stuff for
I
you
know.
too.
I just have to tell that quick story. One day I
Okay.
was singing with your dad at church, and your dad looks at me and says, "Oh man, that was a great newsletter that you wrote the other day. I would do a monthly newsletter for Body Soul." When I say I, Alyssa, but I give
It's
her my
us.
ideas.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, thanks, Phil." I said, "Your daughter wrote that," and he goes, "My daughter?" And I
And
said,
what was this like 5 years into writing? For
"Yeah,
you, like yeah.
yeah, yeah. You've worked with. So we're 10 years, and you've worked for me for 8 years."
Yes.
So I've always gotten nervous, feeling like I was going to lose you as a writer because you're going to get so famous. I know, Robert Kraft and the Patriots. You do some blogging for them, writing for them, right?
I did
Um,
once, yeah.
you did once, yeah. So
Mhm.
I feel grateful that you're not going to leave Body Soul and you're not
No,
too big. So, Alyssa, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for so much for being an inspiration for others. You can go to Alyssa's workingonwalking.org. You can buy her swag. You can make donations. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her blog. Listen, she started out with a lemonade stand, and now, there's actually children who won't die. So there's proof that you can make a difference. Thank you to all my listeners for joining us.
thank you.
Alyssa, I love
Thank
you.
you so much. This was awesome. Thanks for
Awesome.
having me.
All right. Well, thank you. And tune in next week to the Inner Life of Fitness where we'll share more inspiring stories. We'll be talking to our very own body soul, Vincent Tanner. He's a trainer and a general manager. And you're going to learn about his journey. When he was in high school, he was a lanky, skinny gamer, and he became a bigger, stronger gamer, as he likes to say, who now competes in powerlifting and coaches everyone from student athletes to the elderly. So if you have an inspiring story and you feel you want to help make a difference by being on here on social media, you can email me, lisa@bodysoultraining.com. I want to thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Take it one day at a time. Remember to move more, drink more water, and breathe. See you next week, everybody, on the Inner Life of Fitness. Love y'all.